Hey everyone, Coops here from the whole box and dice. It is damn hot today in Sydney, like 40 degrees, it's like 104 Fahrenheit, so I'm glad to be inside, not melting my face off. I'm bringing you all a deck tech. This is Draft Box Leader Frieza. For everyone who's already written this leader off or just think it's like a one trick better than Ginyu, you could not be further from the truth. We've been testing out a mono yellow variant, which is not very spicy, but a lot of fun. We've been playing a Vegito package with this leader, which is just nuts. I'm going to show you Broly today. There's definitely a tricolor mid-range tempo deck as well. There's probably even a God Ramp in there. Not as strong as some of these decks, but just the amount of different decks that you can play. There's almost no deck that you can't make better. Obviously, like the straight Broly leader deck is a different deck because that leader is highly specific, but this is a deck where we're going to take that same Broly chain and show you how we can make it a little bit more reliable and make it even more oppressive with the Frieza leader. Let's jump straight into it, and we're going to start off with a quick review of the leader. 10k on the front. When you choose to play an extra card, you may take one card from your life and reduce that card by one. If it's a card like Objection and it still has a blue cost, you have to pay the blue before you can make the reduction. So as in, like, you can't reduce the blue and just play a generic. Cards like Sensor Bean and the Set 1 Negates all become free. On the backside, take a life and you reduce it by 2, so then you don't even need to have a blue available to cast something like a Sensor Bean. If you have a double yellow or a double green extra card, they become free as well. It's just absolutely nuts. It's insane that you can tap down and still protect your guys with your life. Great way to self-awaken as well. Let's have a look at the Broly package that we're going to be running. So we'll run through some of the battle cards before moving into the extras. We're going to start off with a couple of the non-Broly, battle card parts of the deck. It's 4 copies of Guldo. Just a great card to be able to tap down our opponent's creatures, the 1 and 2 drops. Awesome to be able to get in with our leader, be able to take out a 5k pump, plus draw a card if we're awakened. Running 4 copies of the Bundle of Curiosity Son Goku. Awesome to be able to draw a card and then have a 5k pump on the battlefield. 2 copies of the Cyclopian guard. The Cyclops is so annoying to get past. It's great if you can play a Goku, then play this after. You've got 25k. Your opponent combos a 5k out of hand for a leader. You can still live through that, so it's very annoying when your opponent can't put pressure on without ditching cards on their leader. Running 3 copies of the promo Gohan, which is the Determined Super Saiyan Son Gohan. Great to be able to have unconditional removal. The card is critical as well, which I love. And we're running 1 copy of the Piercing Super Saiyan 2 Son Gohan. When you play this card and your opponent combos during the duration of that turn, choose all of your opponent's battle cards in the battle area and combo area with energy cost of 3 or less and place them in the drop area. So it's like a mini board wipe, makes it very difficult for your opponents to combo for that turn. We're running in the Broly chain itself, running 4 copies of the 1-drop Searcher. Great to be able to have access to our deck to dig through for our bigger Broly cards. Running 3 copies of the promo, so great to be able to have that unconditional removal when you get the Evolve trigger. Plus 15k double strike. Running a playset of the 5 drops, so that's the Raging Lifeform Bio Broly. Your opponent chooses 2 cards from their hand and discards it, which is very annoying. And we're running 3 copies of the big 6-drop, 30k double strike. Choose 2 cards from random from your opponent's hand and they throw them away. The hand disruption is very annoying. The ability to protect it, like I said, when we've tapped down with our leader, casting free extra cards is just nuts. We're obviously running 4 10k pumps in the deck. And let's look at some of those extra cards. We're going to start off with 4 copies of Bad Ring Laser. Play this card potentially for free with your Frieza leader. Drop another yellow card from hand to counter a counter. Great against Bloodlust, great against Crushable, great against Negates. Just a very, very annoying card to be able to have access to, and the fact you cast it for free is just insane. 4 copies of Cold Bloodlust. Everyone should know this card by now. It just wrecks tempo plays. Love it. 3 copies of Crushable. It's great to be able to cast something like Crushable off your Frieza leader as well to help you self-awaken. 3 copies of the green Set 1 Negate. That's full power energy. The ability to pop a Boo or another 1-drop off the board is a lot of value. Running 4 copies of Cell Absorption as well. This is a very interesting card. The fact that you can cast it for 3 on turn 3 or cast it for 3 on turn 4 or even 2 if you've awakened is just insane. There is no way they can stop this card from being played, and I really hope Bandai doesn't print an extra card that counters an Activate main extra card. I like that we have this as an unanswerable thing. It's great in a control matchup. Your opponent can Bloodlust your Brolys. They can't stop the Cell Absorption. Having to throw away 2 cards is very, very annoying. Plus, it helps you Self-Awaken, which is just absolutely nuts. So I absolutely love that card. I think I said absolutely 3 times then. But Cell Absorption is just... It's a card that I saw when it first came out, and I thought, nah, this is pretty average. I don't think you'd ever want to pay 4 for 2. But paying 3 for 2, or even 2 for 2, and potentially enabling you to awaken is just so much value. Happy to run all 4 copies of the Cell Absorption in the deck. So let's talk a little bit about how I guess the deck works and some of the plays that you're going to wanting to be looking to make. Well, the Guldos, we'll start off with some of the low drops. Obviously, you should have some exposure with this card already. So you're playing the Guldos really to get that value of either using your leader to clear a 5k pump off the board, also being able to draw a card without giving your opponents any life or potentially awakening them. It's great for being able to take out blockers as well. Your opponent's not going to use a Cold Bloodlust on a Guldo, and if you do, then they've lost one of their best answers to some of the oppressive cards that you're going to play later on. You're really trying to never play the 1-drop Broly until you're ready to evolve a 4-drop or a 5-drop over the top of it. Most of the time with this deck, you should be hitting another Broly off the Broly, and your opponent rarely sees the promo Broly coming off this, so if you can play the promo Broly and pop something on their field, the best thing to do is probably not attack, especially have the 5-drop in hand, because you can get that value of them forcing them to discard 2 the next turn. We obviously spoke about how strong the Cyclopian guard is. The Gokus are great for just getting some extra card draw out of the deck, which I love. The Broly chain's pretty stable in the deck, and like I said, the fact that you can tap down, and this is, I think, the big thing that people have underestimated with this leader. You know, you can play the 5-drop Broly, for example, and you've tapped down, you're on turn 4, maybe because you played the Evolve for 3, possibly the turn before, if they didn't have removal, or even just on turn 5. So on turn 5, you've tapped down, and you've played this card after playing the 1-drop, right? Your opponent hits you with a Bloodlust. You can Bad Ring from your life, dropping another yellow card. Now, multiple negates, multiple counters, you can't stack them against a Bad Ring, so you can only stack Bad Rings against Bad Rings. So if your opponent's sitting there being like, oh, there's a bit of a board being built up, but it's okay, I've got like 4 negates, for example. Once you Bad Ring the first negate, they can't cast another negate. The only answer to a Bad Ring is another Bad Ring, which a lot of decks just aren't made boarding at the moment because you do need to be in a yellow-centric deck. And without this leader, it becomes a lot harder to be able to keep putting pressure on the board and keeping up both yellow energy and yellow cards in hand to be able to discard to Bad Ring. When you're swinging in for lethal, the ability to counter one of their negates on a blue negate, for example, they don't get to untap their energy, which can make it even more difficult for them. On a Mafuba, they've tapped down 2. There's plenty of times where you can just completely catch your opponent off guard and go through for lethal, which is just crazy how versatile this deck actually is. And I think we're going to see a lot of these draft leader Frieza decks in similar shells. I did see someone already put up a video that had a little bit of Broly, but it was a little bit more yellow focused. You know, I love the abilities. Just the Frieza leaders enable, Cell Absorption, not a good card, but the ability that you can get it off for 3 is just nuts. 3 negates as well. And it does take a little bit of mastery. You can't just go, every extra card just comes from my life, because you only have 7 life effectively, because you obviously can't use your 8th life, otherwise you die. So there is some resource management that you need to learn, and you'll only get that through playing the deck. But I guess when you're attacking the hand from the Brolys and the Cell's Absorption, and you're getting the free extra cards from hand, it makes for a very, very difficult deck to get past. It's one of my favorite versions of using the Frieza Draft Box Leader. I think the only deck I enjoy more is the Vegito variant, which is just stupidly fun to play, and there's even a couple of ways that you can build that as well. So go forth with this deck. If you've got the promo Gohans, you've got the promo Brolys. Yes, I know there's like 6 promos in this deck, but you need that unconditional removal, and they're not too expensive these days, thankfully, so try and get yourself a couple of copies of them. Best of luck with the deck. I promise you, you will have a lot of fun with it. Once you get the hang of it, once you learn that resource management, your opponent's just going to want to rip their hair out, especially when you put 2 cards in their hand from them having no cards, and then you throw them away with Cell's Absorption. That is a very dirty move, so hopefully you all enjoyed this video. If you do, hit the thumbs up button, comment, subscribe, all the usual YouTube stuff. If you want to help out the channel, check us out on Patreon. Plenty of deck techs coming up. We've got about a 64-man tournament. I think it should be on tomorrow over here in Sydney. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what the meta shapes up. Fingers crossed a deck like this can finish towards the top of it. So I've been Coops. This is the whole box and dice. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Best of luck. Happy holidays. Hope you've all got some time off coming up during the break because, we all deserve some time off. So good luck. Peace.